What's going on, everybody? It's Robert again from 1010's podcast. And after I posted my first video where I said that I wrapped this car for $350, I had a decent amount of interest of people that wanted to know a little bit more about it and what it actually looks like and what type of quality you can do for $350. I'm very happy with how it turned out. This is a track focused car. I'm going to spend more time on track than I will on the road or at shows. So I'm okay with having Chinese vinyl quality, but just because I'm okay with it doesn't mean you're okay with it. And in all honesty, this is a video that I really didn't want to do. I don't like pointing out my flaws. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in that way, and I get very self-conscious if people are pointing out my flaws. But I felt like it was more important that I show everybody what this car actually looks like, what Chinese vinyl does, and you can learn from this and decide whether or not this is a path you're willing to go down to with your car. Just because I did it doesn't mean you would. This is my satin chrome blue vinyl. This is just a scrap piece I have left over. This showed up as a full roll, $350 shipped from China. But as you can see, it's very crinkly, it's very stiff. It's not very easy to work with. This is not like Avery or Appa or 3M or even Vivid that's a little bit more forgiving, workable. This Chinese vinyl is not workable at all. So I'm gonna use this heat gun all the way on the highest not the highest setting, but pretty high, fans all the way up. I'm gonna put a bunch of heat into it and show you how workable it is. And then when I get done showing you that, I will walk around the car a little bit and show you the struggle points that I had, which is probably pretty obvious that it was anything that has the curves or the bumpers. There's seams in there that wouldn't be there if I had another better vinyl. But you can see it doesn't have the white glue on it. If the white glue, or if you look at the back of it, it has white glue, that's very bad. At least this has clear glue. It's a little bit higher quality. It's stuck pretty well. I was happy with that. But as you can see, I'm tugging on that as hard as I can, and it's not going anywhere. If I had any of the better quality ones, I could at least stretch it a little bit. It'd be workable. So we're just going to put a ton of heat into this. And that's all the further I can stretch it. Now to get it to do that, even that much stretch, I've already ruined it. This Chinese vinyl is not workable or malleable like the higher quality vinyls. And you can see that you might not be able to see it, but those wrinkles aren't gonna come out. The discoloration is not gonna come out. It just makes it very, very challenging to work with. Now, if I had, we'll just say Avery for the sake of argument. If I had Avery and I did this with it, I'd be doing this with no effort at all. But because of this very hard to work with Chinese vinyl, it doesn't stretch or contour the way you would want it to. So just to give you a good idea, this is no good. This will lead to a lot more problems down the road. And then you're just tearing it. So now I'm gonna walk around the car, show you some of the struggle points I had and the seams that I had to put in place that normally you wouldn't need to do. All right, we'll do a quick walk around the car and kind of point out some of the struggle points and things to expect if you decide to go down this path. As you can see, like on the fender, this area, anything that's flat wasn't any issue really. But as soon as you get to like the body line, you can see that it doesn't want to stay in that contour. It kind of bubbles up a little bit. And I struggle with that all the way down. And I mentioned it in the first video. On the other side, I actually put tack reducer on the sides and got too much in the body line. Had to take the entire panel off and do it over. It's just anything that would prevent it from being adhered to that, it was just making it impossible. The mirrors also, normally you could do these in like one piece or at least one piece here, and this could be another piece. Not an option with this stuff. You can even see that it kind of tiger striped a little bit, and maybe you can see it on video, maybe not, but I overstretched it and you can kind of see some lines, and even then just stretching it at all just ruined the vinyl a little bit. And then even these bigger radiuses here are struggles. I need to go back over this one with the heat gun and fix that. And you can see where I scratched it up where I installed the door. again, the reason I went with cheap vinyl is because stuff like that. I'm still new to it. I damage it right away. And if I would have spent a bunch of money on it, I'd be really upset with myself. The rear bumper was a real struggle. I have seams here and on the other side because normally you could do this in one piece if I had really good workable vinyl. But because this was so hard to work with, you can see that it would not make this corner and be able to stretch all the way down. And again, I need to go back over this car and kind of fix some spots. But like these crevices here, this here, the vinyl itself did not want to make those corners. Same thing with the license plate area. I had to do that in multiple pieces. Normally you wouldn't need to do that. And then the front bumper is the same way. There's a lot of, normally you could probably pull this off in one piece. You could just get a big piece, wrap it all the way around, stretch it into these contours. But with this cheap vinyl, it's just not possible. Same thing, I have one piece for everything in there, big piece up front, and then two pieces on the side. So I have seams that kind of line up with here, and you can see that that's not in there, right? But you can see that there's a seam there that normally there wouldn't be, and there really shouldn't be. But for what I'm doing and for what I learned with it, it's good enough for what I'm doing. From a distance, from here, it looks good. I'm very happy with how it turned out. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching my video on my opinion on cheap Chinese vinyl. If you don't care about your car to the point where you worry about show quality, maybe this is good enough for you. I would assume it's not. I mean, safe bet is that it's worth the money to get the better stuff. With vinyl, it's absolutely, you get what you pay for. I'm assuming there's a reason Appa costs $3,000 for something that I spent $350 on from the Chinese unbranded manufacturer. I think Vivid for the same amount of vinyl would be about $1,200. They have different colors. I'm sure it's higher quality colors, stuff that'll last a lot longer. But just wanted to give everybody my opinion on it. I appreciate it. And again, if you have any more inquiries about this car, my opinions on other things, hit us up. I'd be happy to do videos on them. Thanks.